Good afternoon, it's Michael here from Michael's Card Art, and I've got a short video for you today. It's about technique, and excuse my hand stretching over there, but what I wanted to do was show you a technique that I use to age my leaves, or to bring my leaves into a similar era, I suppose, as the rest of the imagery that I might be using on my cards. So here's the context. It's I'm creating a wedding card, actually. No, it's not a wedding card. What am I thinking? It's a birthday card for a 100-year-old lady, and she isn't aware of this, and I've got a few tips from the actual person who I'm going to be or who's commissioned me to design the card. I'll just give you a bit of a sneak peek. It's outside of the context of what I want to show you, but this is going to be the card. It's going to be a fun fold, and it's going to be in 4 stages, or 4 pieces, if you like. This will sit here on this back piece, but it'll be like this. Can you see that? So this will be kind of like the entree, or the entry. There will be an image here. You'll open it up. Well, the card will open up like that, and you will see imagery throughout the whole card. Now, what I've done is I've kept the card in this sort of a format so that the flowers that I create on each of the pages, or the imagery I create on each of the pages, doesn't get squashed, and you can view it on this angle like so, if you can see what I mean. Anyway, I digress a little bit, but I will do a video on the making of this card as when I get to that stage, and I've only got about 2 weeks to get this card finished, so the video will be up and coming very shortly. However, that aside, this is one of the pages that I'm going to be using in the card. Now, I've found this gorgeous DSP from Source Unknown. I've had it for ages in my stash. It could be from Stampin' Up, it could be from another company, I don't know. But I've decided to, or have elected to, use this image and cut the image on an oval, an oblique oval, if you like, or on an oval on an angle, and I'm going to focus on these colors here that you see in there. But to do that, what I need to do is in my stash find some complementary flowers, and you can see there I've colored them. Now it's a similar color. I've still got some work to do on these, and I've also got the foliage in the same vein. So what I'm going to be showing you today is basically how I color the foliage so that it's reflective of the foliage that's in the image, if you like, on the DSP. So the end product will look something like that, I'm assuming. I haven't really put too much thought in that just yet. And there will be a, what have I done with that? There will be a small little, oh, here it is, that will go in there to hide the hole. And so you will have something that looks a little bit like that. I will have some corresponding stuff over here to even it up, and then the sentiment. Well, it won't need a sentiment on that part because it's all part of a bigger picture. So yes, so that's the context, and this is what I'm going to be showing you, how I colored these to give that aged effect. So, and this was on the back of a number of requests over time that they've said, how do you get those colors like so? So this is the process. Now I'm going to start with the leaves. Now, some of you may or may not have seen my leaf tutorial that I did on green leaves. There is a video. If it hasn't been uploaded, it will be uploaded very shortly, but it was around these leaves. How do I color leaves like this? But you can see that on another video that I have up here on my YouTube channel. So let's start with this. Now, I always have 4 colors in my spritzers ready to go for leaves. Now, depending on whether it's going to be an autumn leaf or not, I mean, if it's autumn or a autumnal scene, then I will always have a red. the green naturally, yellow and a brown. So they're pretty well much autumnal colours. However, for this particular exercise, I'm only going to use the green and the yellow in the spritzer. Now the spritzers are from Stampin' Up. They're very simple. They have a cartridge that I fill, half fill with water. I then add up to 5 drops maximum of one of the refills, whatever one I'm using or need, and 5 drops, and secure the lid, and there you go. Now what I will do, this is a clean sheet of paper. I'll use this one so you can see how it lands. Now we're going to see in here, you can see the slight colouring. There's some green, there is some brown, and then there's a little bit of, well, mostly yellow there. So this is the process. I'm grabbing my green. I will use the green. I will just clean up some of this colour that's now decided to leak from the spritzer because I didn't do the lid up properly when I took that one off. Okay, here we go. So it's just a very, very fine mist. Make sure you know the angle of your spritzer, because how do I know that? Because I have spritzed thinking it was going here and it's gone over this way. But that aside, so just a very, very fine spritz of green. Then I'm going to go with the yellow. And once, oops, see, very, very easy. I am going to add a little bit of brown to this one because I just, I said a little bit, and there we go. All right, but that is not a showstopper. I would normally let that dry naturally. However, I have learnt that you can use the hot gun to do that. So let me bring that out. I'm going to turn off this while I do this. I'll turn off the video or pause the video while I do this so you don't have to sit through this noise. Now I don't want to get rid of these puddles, so I want to keep these. And what I'm going to do is I'll hold the gun around 10-15 centimeters from the flower and try and retain these puddles. So just bear with me on this noise. So by keeping the heat low, I am drying it, but I am also trying to retain the puddles of colour that I've got there. I don't want to move the leaf and destroy those colours. I'm just going to apply a little bit more brown, if you like. I say a little bit and look what happens. So just letting it slowly dry so that I can hang on and retain. There's the green here and a bit of the browny yellow that's there. Now there will be another treatment that goes onto this once this is dried out. I'm just going to turn this heat up a bit more now. Okay, sorry for the noise. Now, even with that drying process, the integrity of the cardboard is still there, which is good. And we didn't get to keep all of that good colour, but you can see here, this is what's happened in a couple that I've done before. You've got some good colouring there. Well, don't worry, because we can bring some of that colouring back into this one. Already it's got a bit of a sepia look about it, from that to that. It's pretty good. So spritzers away, and let's just bring in some Daubers. I tend to use Daubers a lot for my colouring. And the colours that I'll bring in, once again, the brown that we sprayed it with. I'm not going to use soft suede. It might be just a bit too dark. I'm going to use Crumb Cake from Stampin' Up. I will also use Daffodil Delight from Stampin' Up. And also I'm going to bring in, let's just see how those go. I might just have enough there. So we're wanting an aged look to go with our foliage as illustrated in here. So it's like a darkish, there's no real greens in there or just a hint of. So I'm going to just a bit of brown. I always start by burnishing my edges of foliage when I'm trying to age it. And because I just want to get a sense first of the color and how that's pairing up with the actual product, the item that I'm actually trying to color. And just burnish this one. And the good thing I like about paper that has been through this process, it's very malleable and it does hold its shape. See, I've already started to bend these leaves and they're holding good shape. Now I'm just, here we go. You can start to see the ribs coming out in the leaf. My crumb cake is a little dry. It will need re-inking, but here, just trying to give it, there we go, some nice good colour. There we go. Okay. Now let me just bring over the yellow, just to get it that sort of some contrasting tone. Here we go. Not too heavy to start with. There we go. And notice what I'm doing here in this particular case. I'm only colouring on one side of the vein, if you like, of each leaf. Because I've started the right hand side, and continue over that way there as well. Okay. Okay, now just watching that there. Right, I'm going to bring in just a little slightly darker, and it might need to be the soft suede after all. So let's just have a look at that. Make sure that's the brown. Yes. Now the soft suede's a slightly darker tone than the crumb cake. And on the same part where I've done the, yes, perfect. I've done the yellow. I'm just touching it gently with the Dauber of soft suede. And that's pretty good. And now I am going to reach for some green that I want to see highlighted in here. And the one I'll use, I will need a slightly darker color. So let's go with the Mossy Meadow. It is Mossy Meadow, yes. And here we go. Just get a fresh Dauber. And I get this. Oh no, I'll hang on to that yellow just in case. All right. So gently just brushing it slightly with, there we go. And I don't know if you can see that. I'm on the side, I was on the right hand side with the browns, and I'm now on the left hand side with the green. And I just want a hint of green on these leaves. So to retain some of that, there we go. natural. There we go. It's good. Okay. It's delicate. It's very, very light, but, and you probably can't see it on the camera there, but it's just, in my opinion, perfect for what I want. Yes, it's really nice. And if you wanted to, you can try to bring up more of the veins, but I don't think you need to. That's a really nice subtle finish. Let me show you that in context with the card that I'm making so that you can see how it looks. Let me just get rid of some of these colors so that, and I'm just going to quickly make sure I don't have any wet ink on my hands. Okay, and here is the card. Let's just place that back down there. And here is the leaf. And I think that is stunning. I think it works very well in that setting. It's, yes, I think it's great. Nice. Yes. Now these ones, I mean, I would need to just touch these up a little bit because I'm a bit particular like that. But I would just add a little bit of tone there to give it that aged effect. So there you go. Now, which brings us to the next section, which is how did I color this plant? So let's look at that now. I honestly don't know where I got this die set from. It started off as white, and look, most of my work I start off with a white card, and then I color from there. I don't really do a lot of cutting things out in particular cardstock color, although I've got every color that is available from Stampin' Up. I tend to use those cardstock colors more for the base of my card, if you like. I'm just showing you this as an example again. This is one, so the white, in this case it's a watercolor paper sitting on, I think that's called Highland Heather as color. So that's what I tend to do, and you can see that most of the work here is white, and then I've colored it. Okay, so starting off with white paper, as I said, it's here. And I'll grab a Dauber. I'm using Blushing Bride by Stampin' Up for this particular exercise. So let me just open that up. And how I start my colouring process is thus, especially for a flower. Once again, just making sure I've got my Dauber full of colour. And I'll start in the center, and the center is merely a stroke, and that stroke will then start to move out. So I've started in the center and I'm brushing out, and then I will start by bringing the out stroke back into the center. Now, it doesn't matter how dark the center gets because you're not going to really see it on the undercard. So I'm now brushing from the outer leaf back into the center. You'll notice I'm not coloring everywhere. I'm trying to keep the tip or the edge of the flower uncolored. Now what I'm going to do is thus. I'm just rolling it into the ink pad like thus, and getting those outer edges like that. I mean, I also do this as well, but in the essence of time, I am showing you the rolling effect or the rolling technique, and just getting the cardstock to soak up just a little bit on those edges. Now I will then go over and make sure that I've got sufficient highlighted edge, like so. There we go. Okay. And I think that's a good coverage there. Okay, so you can see the white rim between the burnished edges and the center. So let's just repeat the process here, starting in the center and just brushing out. Here we go. Now, because this is a small amount of real estate that I'm working with, keep your flicks, if you like, small. Then I start to come back in from the edge, coming back in. Now, look, I'd be keen if to learn how other people do it, but this is just my process. It seems to work best for me. There we go. So we're still leaving a white area. We're going in with rolling and just getting the card to soak up on those edges. I think that's great. Okay. Now remember, this is going on to a vintage style card, or a card that I want to look not contemporary. It harks back to another period. All right, so that's that part done. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just bringing over my crumb cake and get those out of the road. Here we go. And now with the crumb cake, I'm filling in the white parts. Okay, just gently dab, 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 filling in those white parts, not making a big statement, just coloring. And what you're wanting is this effect. So you're not getting rid of all of the white per se, you're just reducing the glare, if you like. There we go. And you'll know when to stop, depending on the context of what you're putting these older style artifacts into. And so you're going to keep going until you get the effect as like such. Now, I'll just finish that through. There we go. Now, I've got a central piece somewhere here that I was looking for as I work on this. And the central piece is this little one here, something that hides that circle in the center. Like so. And then what I do as I'm getting the card ready for, or doing the installation of the various artifacts on the card, what I will then start to do is get the card ready for its position as well. Now, you all know, for those of you who've seen my work on various Facebook sites and Instagram at Michael's Card Art, you will know that I like height and I like texture. And that is why all of my artifacts are either bent, folded, sitting up, and whatever. Because I just think it gives you a better presentation, if you like. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. There's some beautiful flat art cards out there. It's just not my style. I like to see height and movement. And this is a piece of fern that I've discovered somewhere along in my travels. And what I did with that, all right, that's a smoky color that I wanted there, so that's fine. I'm going to show you, let's fix that, and, or not fix it, but let's show you what I do with something like this. Now, as I said, the photo shows that we're using as a reference is, you can see that there's these colors in here. There's also some wispy ferns, a bit like this, I thought. So I'm bringing that in, but there's barely any green in it whatsoever. It's more of a smoky color. So let me show you how and what I do there with that. And I'm going to use a grey granite, and I'll probably use I'm going to use a bit of green, and I might use this one, the Mossy Meadow, as well. So let's start with the granite. Okay, and all I'm doing is daubing it slightly. I mean, you could use a blending brush, whatever is your tool of choice. I love colouring with either a blending brush, and let me just show you this one. It's clean and ready to go. The blending brush in this case is good. It's a small one, and it allows you to get right into those fibres. And by doing that, on either getting right into those fibres, you're starting to see a bit of tone or texture occurring as well. That's looking quite nice there. Okay, so it needs just a little bit more. Now, that's okay like that, but for me, not quite. So what I do next is this. To give it a bit more texture, I'm going to use, where have I got one handy? Let me just have a quick look. I'll have to go to one of the stamp set, hold on. And the one I'm looking for, I can't find it in its alphabetical position. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, found it. What I want is, this is my favourite stamp of all, I think. And it's starting to show its age as well. The backing is coming off and, poor thing. Anyway, this is what I'm going to do. You can see it's a couple of fine trees. I want this detail in here. So what I do, and this is not my idea, I've seen this used on a number of occasions, but I'm wanting this coloration over my item here. And what I'm doing is I'm just applying a little bit of ink with my finger onto that, and I'm applying it then over to this. And you can start to see there's some tones coming through there. And that is that. Okay, I think that's good. It's just what I need. Now, I could have used a brown, but no, I wanted the darkness of the green just to offset the browns I've got in here and the browns in here. So that's it. Let me just put it all into context for you so you can see what it might look like on this, my client's birthday card, as a guide. There we go. I'm probably only going to use one of these flowers, and you can see it sits quite nicely there with either either flower, sorry. I'm bending these with my fingers, but I could use my bone folder. There you go. There we go. And let's just place that there for the sake of placement. I've obviously got to go and do some work on these ones, but for example, they might sit somewhere in there like that. And then you've got this sweeping over, and that might go somewhere like that. Now, if you look at that in the context of things, it's a good color combination, I feel. What would I be doing over here? I'm just placing items here at the moment because I haven't thought about that other side yet, but it would be similar to what you see here. It'll be not too cluttered. I'll keep it quite open, and it might only be just a couple of items like this. No, it needs to come down like that. Yeah, so However it will work, or whatever, stay tuned, because I will be doing this birthday card creation as part of a bigger tutorial, with each page being set up as an example for video. All right, I won't hold you up any longer. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've learned something, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. This is Michael from Michael's Card Art.